I did read this month. Not sure how, but I did, and I had a lot of fun. I think I read pretty good stuff. Hello, beautiful bookworms! My name is Katarina, and welcome to my channel. And today we're going to be doing a July wrap-up, so all of the books that I've read in the month of July. So in this month, I've actually read more than I was thinking that I could read, if you know what I mean. I thought that I wasn't going to be able to read a lot this month. I thought that if I were able to read, it wasn't going to be books and just going to be like comics and shit. But I actually read 3 books, which is exciting and very unlikely to happen again, but I would really like it to. So let's just see what this wrap-up tells you. First of all, I would like to start by the comic miniseries that I've read. I do have a review for this, and so I'm going to be very fast, but I've read issue 1, issue 2, and issue 3 of The Closet by James Tynion IV. And who are the other people, please? I'm not great at this. So James Tynion IV, Gavin Fullerton, and Chris Halloran. I really enjoyed this. This is a horror miniseries. It has a lot of psychological horror, and it has some trigger warnings regarding neglect and parental relationship with a child. Our main character is both the father of this family and this little boy that is his kid, and it is a journey of not feeling great at all, but loving every second of it, because it's a very well constructed psychological horror where you can feel every little thing about what is going on, and where you have opinions and you want to give them but you can't, and it's great. It was a great miniseries. I really like it, and if you like horror and if you have a chance to read a comic miniseries, why not start with this one? It's just 3 issues, very short, but very impactful and very beautiful. Then still in the comic graphic novel sort of paradise, I read Something is Killing the Children, Volume 6 by also James Tynion IV, Weather Deladera, and Mikel Morado. I absolutely love this cover. This is a tattoo in my face cover. I am loving Something is Killing the Children, and with the Netflix adaptation of it, I'm hoping that a lot of people will love it as much as I do. I've been thinking about a tattoo that has to do with this series that I want to do, and I love every second of it. This volume, I was going to call it issue. This volume was so tension-packed, and the cliffhanger at the end and everything that is going to happen. Poor Erica, and she's our main character, and she's a monster hunter, and I don't know how this is going to work out in the end for her, but I am super excited to get to know it and to see what happens. I'm loving Something is Killing the Children. It has the little of small town mixed with horror, mixed with Stranger Things that I need and want, and it's just badass and incredible. Then I read some manga. I read Oshi No Ko Volume 2. This is by Aka Akasaka and Mango Yokoyari. And if you don't know, I've made a review of the first volume because it was such a surprising volume. I thought this was just going to be, oh look, idol stories, and I reincarnated as an idol child, and I thought that I was going to hate the first volume and was going to do a rant about it. And I was ready for it, and then I absolutely love it because it became a revenge story and a mystery thriller, pretty much. It also brings into point and into focus, and especially in the second volume, the world of entertainment in Japan and most of the ancient Asian countries like Korea and such, but in this case in Japan, and everything that people suffer in the stardom and how not well paid they are and everything like that we don't know a lot about. But this volume mix a lot of true stories in here, but just with the fictional level of it all. I am really enjoying Oshi No Ko. I do believe that the anime is having a big hype, and if you don't want to watch the anime, you can read the volumes. This is great, and I do encourage you to read it if you like a good mystery story and if you like good compelling characters. I am really enjoying it. Then I read another manga, and it's the beginning of a series that I also have a review for, and that I am incredibly in love, and this one is Boy's Abyss. This is by Ryo Minenami, and this is a very heavy story about depression, about suicidal ideation, and a toxic relationship between two people. And it's about our main character that lives in a small town, and he is stuck in a small town. He can never leave because his brother is a shut-in, and he's very violent towards his mother, and his grandmother is senile and is starting to have behaviors like pissing herself and having a lot of health problems. And his mother is a nurse, and she has to have money to give to all this family, so she has to work a lot, and she gets home and she kind of deposits everything on top of our main character. And Reiji, he's like the main caretaker of the entire family, and so he's contemplating suicide. And one day he figures out that an idol, which is pretty strange because it has to do with idols like Oshi No Ko, but that an idol that he appreciates has come to live in that small town, and she wants to kill herself as well. So they make a suicide pact. Obviously this is filled with trigger warnings. There's a lot of mystery as well, because you want to know why she wants to die as well, and if our main character is going to be able to pull out and live his life. But it's a very complicated, very depressive, very blue sort of feel like manga, so if you don't feel like it's something for you, I wouldn't recommend, since it is very, engrossing and difficult to put and to read and to put into mind and to keep that at the back of the seat of your mind. But if you can handle it, I would suggest you to read it. The art style is beautiful, and the story, it's very, I don't want to call it beautiful, but it's kind of like, very nostalgic, very sad. It makes you think about your life and everything like that, and so it could be interesting to think about it. I really love it, though. Then to start off with the books, I read part 1 of An Echo in the Bone, or An Echo to the Bone, I don't know, the 7th volume of Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. In Portuguese, they are dividing these in 2 parts, and so I read only the first one. And I am going to, let me just see the name of this. An Echo in the Bone, not to the bone, obviously. But so I've read the first part of this whilst watching the TV series that is slowly coming out at this point. I love Outlander. I really, really, really like it. I don't really know why, but it's something that I appreciate a lot. It's not really... Okay, who am I kidding? It's my type of thing. Time travel, romance, Scotland, wars, historical, so it's everything that I ever wanted. I am dying to read the second part of this before I finish the TV series, because I don't want to be spoiled for the main plot points, which actually happen in this part. But I really like it, and I was so happy that I was able to read this, because this is like a 600-page brick, and in the months that are currently happening, I haven't been able to read a lot. I think watching the series also helped me, because I was like, oh yeah, I remember where this is going, and so I could read faster, because all of the main plot points I already captured in the series. But I cannot wait for the second part of it, and I'm hoping to maybe continue reading to the 8th volume and progressively finally end Outlander before the final series airs. I'm very excited about this. I really enjoy it. Then finally, I read another Riley Sager, and that was The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This is a Portuguese edition. It's beautiful, I think. I think the cover of this is really beautiful. I don't know if there's a cover like this, but might be. Might be the American cover, I'm not sure, but I really, really enjoy Riley Sager. This man always has more than one plot twist in his books. Normally I can guess one, and I'm always fucking surprised by the second one. And this happened here, because these are always mysteries, kind of thriller kind of thing. But this one had an add-on that I was not expecting for reading 2 of his first books. I really enjoyed it though. It was fairly difficult to maintain the suspense, and I mean, not the suspense, the sustained disbelief that I had to use to believe in the end of this book, but it was pretty fun, and it's like a summer thriller, and I enjoy Riley Sager's books. This dude starts writing, and I don't want it to finish because I'm enjoying it so much, and when you are overworked and very tired, and you just want to keep your mind out of everything that is bad, this is great. Riley Sager is great, and I've heard that Guerre et Page, which is the printer that prints his books now in Portugal. They are going to print Survive the Night. If not this year, next year. And I am so excited because I want to read that. And very happy that I got this one and read this one. And finally, another and the final book that I've read in the month of July is actually a Portuguese book by a Portuguese author. So I'm going to pronounce the title in Portuguese and then try to translate it because I think he's translated in other languages. So I read a book by João Tordo, the author, and he wrote Biografia Involuntária dos Amantes, which I think it can be roughly translated to Involuntary Biography of Lovers, something like that. But I have read a non-fiction by João Tordo, really enjoyed it, and I wanted to start his fiction novels and see if it had something to say to me. And boy, oh boy, he did. I loved this book. Tears are coming to my eyes because I couldn't stop. I teared up a little bit when I was finishing this book. It was something. This is the story about two men, and at the beginning of the story they run over a boar in the street. One of them is Saldanha Paris. He is a young poet. He's Mexican, and he has come to Spain to sort of die and disappear, and we don't know why. And the other person is what's the name of our main character? Jesus, I forgot. I don't know if he actually has a name, but I think he does. The other person is actually a professor, the one that is narrating the story to us. He is a linguistics professor in a Spanish university in Galicia, I believe. Or Santiago Compostela, I'm not sure. But he is a professor, and he met this young poet in some strange, not very normal circumstances, and they pick up a friendship, and he is soon going to find out about the love of this poet's life, Teresa, and she's a Portuguese woman, and she has died recently, and this man is going to be the one that is going to tell us a biography of these two lovers and what happened in their lives. And I was floored by the beauty and the way that this man was able to write women, was able to write men with feelings, was able to write a somewhat interesting, who am I kidding? Like a perfect, interesting plot point of stories. I didn't want to put this down. This is a fairly normal book, so it's kind of like 417 pages, but it felt like a breeze to me. The writing of this is so beautiful, and if this book is translated in your country, I full on tell you, please, if you want to try Portuguese authors, and you want to read a full-length, beautiful novel with a little bit of magical realism, a lot of love, a lot of desperation, death, relationships, and kind of like searching for the meaning of life in a way, this is a book for you. I am floored and in love with João Tordo's writing, and I think that I'm going to get some more of his books to read. Maybe do a review of him as an author if that's something that you might be interested in, since I don't do a lot of reviews of Portuguese authors, and I think that's wrong. So yeah, I'm even considering doing a review on this book, maybe. I'm not sure. This was so beautiful. I don't think I can put into words how beautiful the writing of this is, how beautiful and tragic all of this story is, but how hopeful it is at the end. So yeah, it was really good to have read this book. So yeah, guys, that's going to be all for today. This was what I read in July. If you like it, leave a like or subscribe, and tell me down below if you know any of these books, read any of these books, or want to read some of these by my recommendation. I always like to know. So that's going to be all for today, and happy readings to you all, and good summer and vacations if you're going to have some, which is not my case. So happy readings to you all. Bye!